What up, guys? Rapture's here, and welcome to the next episode of Let's Talk on Flex Central. And today's episode, we will be talking about the 2008 TV series, which only lasted for 2 seasons, Jericho, which I've only literally just started watching recently. And I can't believe I just did that intro. I feel so abused by myself, even though that makes no sense. But what up, guys? Rapture's here. And yes, today's Let's Talk episode will be about the TV series released back in 2008, and it only lasted for 2 seasons, and the second season was only 7 episodes long. Series called Jericho. Now, what the TV series is about these nukes get sent off in 24 major cities across the US, basically destroying the whole of the US, apart from this small little area, and the center of it is a town called Jericho. And it's basically how the town copes and survives with its own little turmoils. What would actually happen? It's basically like what would happen if an actual nuke went off, and if there was a town which was completely untouched by the radiation and the bombs. What would it be like? What would happen to that town? What situations would they have to deal with? And trust me, this TV series throws a lot of situations towards the town. I mean, one of them, because they start running low on medical supplies. What ends up happening is they send 2 of the main characters out to this hospital about 50 miles outside of town. And it turns out that there's this rogue mercenary group going around the hospital, killing anybody who goes in. And then they get them the medical supplies, run out, and it turns out that the person who's dying is their father, because they're both brothers. It turns out the person who's dying is their father, but he's dying from the common, from a normal fever, which, because he's older, it's going to affect him worse. And with a fever, you usually get given medicine, and you get given paracetamol and antibiotics and all that kind of stuff. But because they don't have the medical supplies anymore, because they're in the post-apocalypse and all that kind of thing, then that kind of crazy shit happens, and they have to go out to a nearby hospital and get the stuff. So, yeah, I'm going to try and keep my commentaries a little bit more upbeat now, because I realise that when I'm talking during my commentaries, I'm like, hi, this is what I'm talking about today, and that's about it. Goodbye, please comment, raise that. Yeah, that's basically how I've talked during my commentary, so I'm going to try and be a little bit more upbeat, a little bit more bouncy during the commentary, literally. You can't see it though, you can only hear my voice. But, with Jericho, it's the only TV series that I know of personally which kinda does the post-apocalyptic thing by nuclear attack. It was done before the TV series of The Walking Dead was done. I'm pretty sure The Walking Dead TV series was released like a year or 2 later. I think it was 2 years later, in 2010, I think it was released. Not too sure about that though, but I think the closest that you'll get to it, really, TV series wise, is a BBC TV series which was remade a few years back, called Survivors. That also got cancelled after its 3rd season. I don't know why. It was a really good series, but oh well, you can't really do much about that because the BBC is a bunch of dickheads. And now I'll explain why Jericho got cancelled. The first season was a huge hit. Basically, it was released in 2008, it went in through to 2009, it finished in 2009, and CBS couldn't believe the amount of popularity that they got, but due to budget cuts that CBS had to do, they turned around and sort of gave, I think the budget for Jericho was, I don't know how much less, but I know it's a lot less than what they originally had on a budget. So they had to deal with a lower budget on quite a high, well, it wasn't a high budget show, but it was high enough that the show would end up getting cancelled after its 7th episode. Basically, you could see when you were watching the episodes that the quality of the show had dropped dramatically due to the budget being cut. And there's nothing that the audience could do about it. It was just the fact that you would be watching the show and then there would be certain things which really didn't make sense, and then see the special effects, and then you'd realize that the price and the cost of the special effects and stuff had to be cut as well because of the budget cut. So technically it wasn't Jericho's fault, it was CBS. CBS turned around to the producers of the show and sort of went, yeah, we're not doing this anymore, you're getting cancelled. But for those who do enjoy the show, and if you haven't seen any of it, it's quite easy to find online. There's 1,000,001 sites where you can stream it from. I decided to be slightly illegal and download the 2 seasons because buying them would cost me quite a lot of money. But no, I just decided to download them instead. I'm not too bothered, but oh well. And I've watched basically the whole first season, and I've watched about 2 episodes of the second season. And you can definitely tell the difference between the two, but it's still a great series, even though season 2 had a lower budget. The storyline is pretty much the same. The aspects of some of the characters are slightly different, but there are some changes in the series which weren't really for the best. But there is some hope for Jericho. Netflix, as in the pay monthly TV and movie service online, they have gone to CBS and kind of said, alright, Jericho on Netflix is getting a shitload of views, both the first season, and I'm not sure if they have the second season on there, but I think the American one's got the second season on there. So they turned around and sort of said, alright, Jericho as a series as a whole on Netflix is one of the most highly viewed series on Netflix, and there's hardly any complaints about it. The people have been asking where's the 3rd season, and they've been turned around to and sort of said there is no 3rd season. So basically what's happened is Netflix have gone to CBS and kind of said, you know what, it's probably worth bringing this TV series back, and that was about 2 weeks ago. So at the moment, Netflix and CBS are still in talks about bringing the show back. I'm not sure what they'll do with some of the characters. I'm not sure what they'll do with the storyline because of the time gap. They could try and keep it the same, but where they finished it off on season 2, what they could possibly do is finish off the rest of season 2 and then just go straight to a season 3 with a little bit of a bigger time gap. That's a possibility. But there's been 1,000,001 things for Jericho that have been rumored, like what it did with the TV series Firefly, which ended up being the movie Serenity. They were going to make a movie of Jericho, but that got scrapped pretty quickly because they didn't know what kind of storyline they could do with it. They were thinking of doing the storyline of Ravenwood, which in the Jericho TV series was that mercenary group which were at the hospital, who actually eventually come up to the town, and the town stands against them and basically fights back at them, and the Raven would just basically go and run off towards the end of it. So yeah, that's Jericho. Let's talk. Thank you for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe both to Flex Central and to my channel. Thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you guys later. Peace.